I've had just about enough of talking about the same two fucking games for more than 10 videos now. So today I think I more than deserve a break from those topics and actually do something fun. Fuck you and your Minecraft/FNAF bullshit. Today's video topic is the SS United States because I've developed a fetish for United States lines and their fleet because their ships are full of history and tradition.
Stop the cap.
Plus they look sick as hell, my god. Anyways, let's begin with the SS United States. What is there to even say about this fella? A big, chunky, and streamlined, pure American hull cover ship that was so fucking fast you would think that it did 3 lines of coke at a frat party whose organizer is goddamn Justin from across the street. Just like the SS America, she was also the love child of William Francis Gibbs.
Well, she's having a baby out of wedlock as well.
Contrary to popular opinion, these two ships are not sister ships. Except that, yes, they fucking are. Whoever came up with the stupid-ass idea that, oh yeah, sisters have to be basically identical, is pure bullshit. That's like saying you don't have a brother because he's 3 years older than you and doesn't look similar enough to you. Here, just look at them for God's sakes. They're basically the same except the size and a little proportion tweaking. Morons. But I got a little sidetracked. Moving on. Her hull was laid down on February 8th, 1950 and was launched on June 23rd, 1951. She was christened by Lucille Connolly, who I know absolutely nothing about because there isn't a Wikipedia page for her. By the way, did I mention that this ship is fast as balls? The secrets of her design are so mind-boggling and make you ask yourself, how the fuck did this ship from the 50s go so fucking fast? First off, the hull has a minimal amount of rivets, basically none to minimize drag. The entire superstructure is made out of aluminium.
They can't say aluminium.
To decrease weight drastically but still retain the strange strength. She had 4 double reduction geared steam turbines and 10 Babcock and Wilcox, oh my god, boilers working at 1000 psi. She could push out 240,000 horsepower with those specs, but never went over 150,000 during her career. But there's one thing I didn't tell you yet, and it's kind of a doozy. Gibbs had a hard one for safety. I'm not kidding. He did the same with the America. Not sure if that helped in any regard, considering that, you know, this happened. But the ship had no incidents during its service to the United States line, so good job, Gibbs. Here, though, he cranked up that safety to 100. Terrified by the deeply tragic sinkings of the Normandy and Morro Castle due to fire, Gibbs was having none of that shit. Dude went so hard on fire safety that you couldn't find a single piece of wood on the ship, except a single wooden butcher's block in the galley. Beep, 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 get that shit out of here! Actually, a mahogany piano was also added, only after a thorough demonstration where they poured gasoline on it and fucking ignited it and it didn't burn. Everyone's favorite miracle building material, asbestos, was damn near everywhere in the ship's interior paneling. During her sea trials, she was real fucking fast. So fast that her specs were classified until 1968. Imagine being that OP. Anyways, during her maiden voyage, she obliterated her own speed record held by Queen Mary by more than 10 hours, Jesus Christ. And then when she returned to New York from Cornwall, she broke the return record as well. She was so fucking fast, in fact, that she, to this day, still holds the blue ribbon for the fastest Atlantic crossing. Before the declassification of her top speed, there was a hot dispute of how fast the United States really was. Was it as fast as the country it's named after when it hears a third world country has a massive undiscovered field of oil? 42 knots. Yup. 42 fucking knots. For you people who don't know how to convert that, that is 77 kilometers per hour, or roughly 750 American football fields per second for my American viewers. If your hat were to fly off your head during her voyage, you could comfortably say goodbye to that thing, because you aren't getting that thing back. Although her usual cruising speed was usually about 35 knots. Still, pretty fucking fast. Funnily enough, the most boring part of her career was during her almost 20 years with the United States lines, which ended in 1969. Nice. For her farewell tour, it was planned that a 50-day cruise would be made to the Pacific, but that was cancelled though. This was announced during her annual overhaul, so logically, everyone just got up and fucking left. I mean, I don't blame them, but come on. At least could have finished painting the funnels. She spent like 10 years in Virginia, and a bunch of ideas were tossed around, all equally boring, and none of them were to materialize. In 1984, all of her furnishings were sold at auction to pay off some debt that some guy owned to some other guys. During this time, she got a grand tour of Europe, surprisingly enough. Granted, she was being towed the entire time, and she was towed to Turkey, and then Ukraine. That's where the beautiful asbestos and basically everything else was removed. Leave it to anyone other than the Americans to do the toxic work. I'm sure that the US was thankful for that. The lifeboats and davits were scrapped because some people see nothing but dollar signs on clear pieces of history. And then finally, in 1996, she was towed to Philadelphia, where she still is to this day. Of course, a bunch of companies still attempting to buy her, but I guess the SS United States has developed some sort of magic that repels any and all advances on it. Thankfully, the SSUS Conservancy scraped by with just enough money to buy her and save her from scrap threats around that time. Finally, in 2021, the rent for the birth was increased, so now the Conservancy has that in their hands to deal with as well. Everything after the United States lines got rid of her is an incredibly sad story. It's like a sad homeless puppy no one wants to buy. But maybe the Conservancy can cook up a plan to restore her to her former glory. She's definitely one of the top 10 most aesthetic ships for me, and it would be a shame if she were to just rot away in her pier.